Hi everybody. This is going to be my first video where I show you how to do some stuff with your calculator. As you've noticed in some of the announcements that I mentioned, that the parts of the videos that I do that are class recordings, you can't see the part where I show students how to use the calculator. So I thought I'd show you all here. This right here will be all of the calculator skills you need for Chapter 3. And Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 didn't really have any calculator skills. Chapter 4 won't either, so we're not really going to come back to this, I think, until Chapter 5. Alright, so you have one of these calculators, you turn it on, right? And if you look at this example, right, it's asking us to find the standard deviation of each of these samples, but I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to show you how to find the median, the mean. There's not really a mode here, but you would be able to find that using this. And some other stuff, right? Interquartile range, etc. So you can enter in, right? So we got Dan's scores and we got Barb's scores here. So we can press, the first thing we want to do is, let me just, we press stat. And then you can hit number 1, which is just edit. So now we have these lists, right? You can press this button to kind of see all the lists. We're just going to put Dan's stuff into L1, so 55. Right, so that's how you make these lists. Now, let's show you how you get statistics from them. So again, you hit this stat button here. You go over to calculate, you do one variable stats. Right, now I need to say, hey, do you want to do one variable stats for Dan, or do you want to do one variable stats for Barb? Like, how does the calculator know what y'all want to know, right? So if you notice above 1, in blue here, it says L1. So I can hit second L1, and now it's giving me some stats, right? So notice this first number right here, 74. That is X bar, so that means the mean of Dan's scores is 74, right? The sum is 444. This is the sum of the squares of all the scores. You don't really need to use that for anything. But then this is the standard deviation, right? Since it mentioned that these are samples of Dan's scores, not all of them, you would use the 23. If it said like, yo, Dan took 6 tests or whatever, right? And these are all of them, you would use the second one because that's for population standard deviation. Down here is N, so that tells you how many scores, and if you press this down button, you get more information. So now it gives me the minimum, right? And then you have Q1, the median, Q3, and the maximum, right? And if you don't know what Q1 and Q3 are, you need to watch my videos. Okay, so that's how we did that. Now, I can do second quit, or not actually, just clear. Right now, if I want to do the same thing for Barb's, we can hit stat, calc, one variable stats, and then hit second. Now hers is in L2. So I can hit enter there. Notice that she has the same mean score as Dan, but a much lower standard deviation, meaning that her scores are, as you can see, less spread out. Okay, now let me just give you a couple of other pieces of information when using this. Right, when you do edit, you can go up here to clear a list if you want. I'll just put in L3 so we can just see it. Let's just randomly do some stuff. you can go up to the top and hit clear. Do not ever hit delete, because that will actually eliminate the whole column, and there's not really an easy way to fix that, so do not do that. But you can hit clear and then enter, and it will get rid of things. All right, another place you can do that is a couple of other things. So one thing I want you to notice though is if I hit stat and then go to calc, I hit one variable stats without typing, right? It automatically does L1. So if you just have L1 in there and that's what you want, you can just use one variable stats without specifying which list. If you want to use any list other than the first one, you need to specify it. Okay, now, just so we can do some other things here, I can get rid of Barb's scores by going to second, or let's just do this. It's stat, clear list, L2. Now notice if I go back there, there's nothing in list 2. Okay, another thing you're going to have to do is learn how to make a box plot. So let's make a box plot for Dan's scores. So look above where it says y equals. It has the phrase stat plot. That stands for statistics plot. So to do that, I'm going to hit second, y equals, and then I want to turn this from off to on. And then the box plot, there looks like there's kind of two of them. But use this one, right? And then if I wanted, well, I deleted all the stuff that was Barb's stuff, but if I didn't, I could put it there as L2, right? But we have it as L1. Never change the frequency, just don't worry about that. Okay, now if I hit graph, the stat plot's going to show, but we can't actually see it, right? And why is that? Well, notice Dan's scores, his lowest score was 55 and his high score is a 100. The window, let's press window, notice has an x-min of -10 and an x-max of +10. Since there's only one variable here, you don't need to worry about the y stuff. So we want to set a good window, right? Well, I want a window that would both include 55 and 100. So maybe I'll do 50 to 110, right? That's what min and max means. Now, the scale just shows you where each hash mark is, right? So right now, I'm going to set that to 10, and you'll see what happens when I change that. So now notice when I graph it, I can actually see this. Now if I hit this trace button and then use the arrows, I can see what the different things are. So my min is 45, which, ooh, I missed that. So I might want to go back to my window and you can see what the hash bars do. So let's change this to 40. And then let me change the scale to 5 just so you can see what that does. So now notice that there are more hash marks here. So you don't want too many of them, right? Like if I change that to 1, you can't even see the hash marks really. So if the hash marks are important to you, right, for counting, you might want to set that to a number that's kind of reasonable. Maybe your range divided by something like around your range divided by 10, something like that. Now you can do trace. All right, that shows you that's the median, Q1, minimum. So it tells you the statistics. Finally, if you want to get rid of all your lists, right, you can do that by hitting second memory, and then option 4 is clear all lists. So I hit enter, and now there is nothing remaining. So that is how to use your calculator to do all the stuff for chapter 3. We'll do a lot more stuff later. So for now though, that should be everything.